Preparing to live stream.
So look, I don't need to log in. I just need to watch it, right?
Yeah. Well, you can log in so you can comment as yourself. I mean, you're already logged into your YouTube channel. All right, we're live. Preparing to live stream.
So look, I don't need to log in. I just need to watch it, right?
Yeah. Well, you can log in so you can comment as yourself. I mean, you're already. You can just watch it from not logged in. All right, we're live. So we got 6 viewers. Are you still there? Hello, I lost you. We're live on your channel and I'm here alone waiting for Douglas to come back. Stand by, everybody.
Are you there? Dave.
Yep, we're back.
All right. So look, should I be commenting from here or
you're good? You can go into the comments. I saw you commented in the chat. So
I see what I need to cut off the volume on Facebook.
Yeah, no, just turn off Facebook, itself. Turn off the volume on
stay
Facebook
on the Zoom
and or YouTube. Yeah, on YouTube, just turn out and just stay on the Zoom and pull the chat up on the side and you're good to go. And we're live. Hi, everybody.
God, please get me through this.
You can do it. This is easy. Come on.
I'm not hearing you.
You can't hear me? No, boy.
Okay, just give me a second. Let me just cut that off.
All right.
Now come back over here. Can you hear me here?
I can hear you. Can
God,
you hear me?
This is cool. Now I think they won't be able to see me. Let me.
No, they can see you. I can see you.
Cool. All right. Now I got 2 other guys. I don't think they're going to be able to come on, but they'll be able to watch. So
okay, and if they want to join, they can just click that link that you joined, and they jump right on the show.
All right, ML and Bonafide, you can just join by the link on the Zoom, and we're streaming live on YouTube. This guy's already a genius because I could have never figured all this out.
It's easy. Can everybody in the chat hear us? Everyone, all right, we're there. Well, you got 238 watching, so here we go.
All right, well, go ahead and introduce yourself, Dave.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm David Weiss. I'm a flat earther, right? A little crazy. Here's the thing, and a real quick, brief intro into flat earth. Flat earth is the dumbest thing ever, is what you think, when in fact, the globe is the dumbest thing ever. And I'm going to prove that to you. And here's the thing, that the people that think flat earth is stupid, they have 2 things in common. One, they think the flat earth is something ridiculous, okay? They think the flat earth is a disc floating in space, okay? Because they went to the Flat Earth Society, they looked up like, oh, all the other planets around. Nonsense. No flat earther believes that. The other thing they have in common is they don't even know the heliocentric model, right? They have no idea how fast the Earth is spinning, how fast it's orbiting, how far the sun is, how they figured it out. They don't know anything. They don't know that we're spinning supposedly at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting 66,600 miles an hour. That's crazy. Chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour. They don't know any of this. Check this out. Watch this hypersonic sled go by. Mach 8.6. Ready? Bam. Did you see it? Watch it again. Okay. And if you hear it, it's like the sound is crazy. Mach 8.6. Ready? Watch it. See if you can see it. And it's gone. Okay.
Wow.
We're orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that. On the outside of a water ball with a air around us in a vacuum. Does anyone see a problem? Okay. There's so many problems with that. That's all you should need to know that the globe is a lie. Forget the Earth being flat. The globe is a lie. And by the way, backing up, I watched your show earlier today, and you're talking about some real important stuff that's going on in the world. Why the heck are we talking about flat Earth? And the answer is because if you are lost in space, spinning out of control, believing that you're an insignificant speck that evolved from pond scum on a godless or distant god speck of dust floating through an infinite universe, then you're giving up your sovereignty. Sovereignty, is that the word? You're giving up your God-given free will. You're giving up your power. You are lost in space, spinning out of control. And how can you make a proper decision easily? Right? With all the nonsense going on in the world, I think everyone knows what we're talking about. The way they get away with it is because we are lost in space, where people don't know who they are, where they are. They want you to think that you're spinning out of control, lost in an infinite universe, when in fact you are at the center of creation.
Wow.
All of the heavenly luminaries, we'll get into that, are circling above us, just like it says in the Bible. The Bible has over 200 verses that talk about a flat, immovable plane, waters above, waters below. Page 1. Now listen, I never lead with the Bible. Okay. I'm not the Bible guy. My co-host is a full-on Bible guy. Amazing channel. It's called Woke Town, one word. Short videos. All of them have a little Bible twist to them, or a big Bible twist. Amazing stuff. Because this world is intelligently designed. Do you know what that means? Because before I discovered the Earth was intelligently designed, I didn't believe in a creator. Well, now it's not about believing. I know there's a creator. Do I know who the creator is? I think that's everyone's personal journey. But
Yes.
once you see the creation, there's no denying its existence of the creator. There's no more ability to deny it. And the fiends, that's a nice word, that are running this world, they don't want you in that position. They don't want you in a position where you can't deny the creator. Because once you do, you can deny their influence over you.
With the link I sent you.
You can't deny you can deny their influence over you. So there you go. Here we go. Bonafide. What's going on?
Bonafide, cut your video on and you'll be on the screen.
Yeah, on the bottom left, hit the video button and then you'll be on the screen.
Same thing with you, Mark.
There you go.
ML, cut your video on. Sorry, guys. They're arriving late. Bonafide. He's on our show.
Yeah.
David is explaining the flat Earth. Mark, on the bottom left, cut your video on, and you'll be shown too. Okay. Continue on, Dave. There you go.
Yeah. So I'm explaining why flat Earth matters with all the craziness going on in the world. Why are we talking about flat Earth? And the answer is it's the elite's biggest secret. It's how they control us. They have us in a prison for our mind. We're on a globe. Remember in the Truman Show? I want to be an explorer. There's nothing left to explore, Truman. And she pulls down the map. So this is it. Well, that's the globe. There's nothing else to explore, right? So what do I mean there's nothing else to explore? If we're not a pancake floating in space with a bunch of other balls or pancakes, what is the flat Earth? And the answer is we live in what I call the Antarctic Basin. Do you know that Antarctica is the highest land on Earth? Highest land on Earth. Where does water accumulate? Top of a hill or at the bottom? Accumulates at the bottom. Okay, large bodies of water at rest, anything bigger than a bucket of water at rest, lay flat, testably, measurably, provably flat. We can test with lasers and mirror flashes, sun flashes. So if you're on a big lake and you go to the edge of the lake, can you fall off? No, you're at the edge of the lake. And what determines the edge of the lake is that the land is consistently higher than the lake. If it was lower, the water would flow away.
Right.
Antarctica is the shoreline of our world pond. All of the continents are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by its container. That container is Antarctica. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Third time I'm saying it. And it contains our water. What's beyond Antarctica in this outer space? I don't know. Maybe there's more continents out there, extra territory. Somebody lived out there. You might want to call them an extraterrestrial from the outer space.
Right.
Okay. Maybe there's rings. Maybe there's more puddles. Maybe we're the only puddle, right? Because a lot of religious books only talk about this one world. You know, maybe it is this one world. We don't know because no one is allowed to go beyond 60 degrees south. No corporation, nobody. It's the only treaty that lasted the test of time, 1959. And you can't even question it until the year 2041. Well, they'll kick it down the road another 60 years. Okay. So why can't you go out there? One, it's very tough to navigate out there. Compasses don't work. GPS doesn't work. No resources. And it gets dark a lot. What's out there? If you went out there, you'd find out that you don't live on a ball. And then you'd start questioning government. They don't want that. They have us in their indoctrination camps. They teach us what they want to teach us. They teach us nonsense math. They teach us just enough to be good worker slaves for them. They don't want us, thinking for ourselves. They want us to believe that we're at the pinnacle of society when in fact we are literally synonymous with idiocracy at this point. Okay. In the 1800s, there was a worldwide civilization called Tartaria. There's evidence of it in every city, in every town. There's buildings everywhere that were built that we can't build now. They're everywhere. But there was some reset that happened in the late 1800s, some cataclysm, and the world was reset and all of our history was reset. Everything is a lie. And once you start looking into it, the rabbit hole is so deep, a lot of people are afraid to peek their heads in because they could start tumbling.
Wow, that is amazing stuff. And ML told us about these churches that had their own power back in the 1800s, and they could generate their own power. Some of the churches still stand, but the civilization and the churches are gone.
There's the biggest churches and stuff there, and buildings. Like, did you know that our Capitol building is on top of another building that's underground? Okay. Yeah. So everything is a lie. Not everything. No, everything is a lie. So much, you know who said the world is a stage, right? Shakespeare said that. Guess what? Shakespeare is a lie. He never existed. He's a made up person. So the person that said the world is a stage prop himself. Okay.
Wow.
It's that there's lies on top of lies on top of lies on top of more lies.
Wow.
So, yeah. So why does flat earth matter? It friggin' matters so much that's how they control us, because if you understand who you are, then you understand that nobody has dominion over you. Well, the government says, do this, do that, do this. Don't go there. Don't talk to that person. And people is like, okay. What if this video goes viral? 7.5 billion people watch it tonight. Okay. And they go, hey, Dave made a good point. Screw the governments. Well, it's over. We don't even know who they are because they would just vanish. Boom, they'd be gone. No power. They have no power. The only power they have is in your imagination.
Wow. That's deep.
It's a fact.
But it's true.
It's a fact.
He's exactly right.
It's a fact. And what's going on now is our fault. All of it is our fault. Everything that's going on is our fault because we're allowing them. Okay. Right? We're allowing them by not saying no. This world, here's the good news. They have to play by these rules. They're not allowed to break our free will. They have to tell us what they're doing. And if we don't say no, then we're saying yes. That's how the rules work. Well, guess what? I'm saying no. You all should say no. And then it would be over. Not tomorrow. It would be over tonight. Okay.
Right.
That's it. I just being careful. I have not put on a shame muzzle once. I've been shopping. I go everywhere. I do not. I will not. I never will. At gunpoint, I won't. Okay. Right. And I won't do that other crazy.
Yeah. The poke.
No, don't even say that. By the way, the P word is picked up by the algorithms. Don't even say that.
Oh, okay.
Anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's going on? People say, why the lie? I mean, they are lying they're hiding land. They're hiding the creator. They're hiding more resources. They're hiding your true divinity. They're hiding everything. There's unlimited water. There's unlimited food. Think about this magical place we live in. You can take a seed that your grandfather put in a jar 50 years ago. You can stick it into the soil. Water will fall out of the sky, and then food will grow out of the ground. What food shortage is there? There's a stupidity that we have too much stupidity and an intelligence shortage. Okay. There's unlimited water above us and below us. There's unlimited resources. Fossil fuels, nonsense. Oil is abiotic, but we don't even need oil. There's free voltage in the air. Tesla proved it. There's such advanced technologies here, but they don't want us to know all of that. They need to keep us as worker slaves. Most people live to work, right? You buy a car, you buy a house, you work your whole life to have those two things. The car takes you to your job, takes you home where you rest for the next day for your job. Okay. And then you retire. Hopefully you saved enough money. So when you're too tired to do anything, you have some money to survive and you don't get kicked to the street. This is what they want you to do. This is, there's so many nonsense jobs out there that people, they want people in these nonsense jobs because it keeps them good slaves. If you're a slave, if you're making just enough money to get by, you're going paycheck to paycheck, you don't even see the walls that are around you. You don't see that you're in a jail. Okay. You're in a jail. Slavery wasn't abolished. It was spread everywhere.
I would agree 110%. Nobody questions anything. They just go on about what their life thinking it's normal and doesn't question anything.
Yeah. So let's talk about, all right. So I'm making a couple good points. What proof, I don't know if anyone's watching the chat. Anyone that has a question on why, how does something work on a flat earth? How does this and that work on a ball earth? I'm happy to answer it, but I'll show you. One of my favorite things is flight routes from Santiago, Chile, right? If you want to go to Australia, the quickest route would just be zip right across the bottom of the ball, right? But we're not allowed to fly over Antarctica because the penguins, we can't disturb the migratory path of the penguins, right? Burn down the Amazon, that's fine, but don't fly over Antarctica. So you just go around. There's plenty of islands out here. If you had to land, might even be safer. Fine. Okay. Right. But if you wanted to go to Western Australia, the actual flight route is this. You go all the way up to America, all the way over to the Far East, Singapore, and Western Australia. Why didn't they just cut across the bottom of the ball? They go all the way up. You know why they go all the way up? Check out this flat earth map. Santiago, all the way up across America, Far East, Singapore, Western Australia. Straight line. Airplanes fly straight and level over the earth plane. All the FAA manuals, NASA manuals, not that we believe anything about NASA, we can get into that. CIA documents, they're disclosed documents. They say they treat the earth as a flat, non-rotating plane. A flat, non-rotating plane. Does that sound like a spinning ball flying through an infinite, impossible space vacuum? No. Think about what a star. What is a star? It's compressed hydrogen. There's so much hydrogen that it turned into a ball bigger than a planet, burst into flames in a vacuum. Does anyone have a problem with that? Try lighting a match in a vacuum. Put a candle in a jar and put the top on. What happens? Well, that's no oxygen. Suck the air out of it. You can't have anything. You can't have gas in a vacuum without a container. Okay. And gravity. Everything's gravity. There's so much gravity. It holds it all together. Gravity is an unproven, untested BS theory that needs 96% dark matter, dark energy to make it almost work. And that science goes, well, we know that 96% of the universe is dark matter and dark energy because without it, the gravity wouldn't work. What? I mean, it's nonsense. Let me repeat myself if I didn't say it already, because I just did another show and they're blending in my head. The globe is the dumbest thing ever.
Right.
I can't think of anything dumber than the globe. And I'm embarrassed that I ever believed it, but I did. I was ignorant to the globe. And after this show, if you still believe in the globe, it's because you're willfully ignorant. But here's the thing. Don't believe me. Go, hey, that's interesting. I'm going to go verify it myself. Unlike NASA, everything they tell you is nonsense, and there's no way for you to verify it because you're not allowed in space, right? So you can prove these things. I was shown, hey, we could see too far. I was showing all these cool videos. I'm like, hey, look at this video. There's no boat here. And as I zoom in, you can all of a sudden see a boat right here. Here's the boat. Here it comes. Okay. It was there the whole time, but my eye couldn't see it. Why can't it see it? Couple reasons. One, the angular resolution. Watch, as I pull out, watch the boat disappear from the bottom up. The half of the boat will be, look, it's gone. Now that's because some of the waves in the front are doing it. And also its angular size is getting smaller. The wave front edge makes it go away. The whole boat's gone. Baller would say it's over the ball. Well, how the heck did I just zoom in on it? So I went out and bought a $1,000 camera, super zoom camera. I said, there's a buoy 10 miles off my beach. It's 11 miles off my beach. I rounded down. I found out the curvature, according to their math, is 66 feet. Now, some of these debunking sites, that are all nonsense, they say, well, it's half of that, because you're halfway down and the buoy's halfway down. So it's only 33 feet. That's nonsense, but I'll give it to you because I don't need it. 33 feet is taller than the 10-foot buoy. I zoomed in. There's the buoy from a foot off the ground. There's the buoy, and there's the surface of the water for dozens of miles beyond it, which should have hundreds of feet of curvature. There it is. Lasers on Navy ships can pinpoint other ships over 100 miles away. At 100 miles, there should be a mountain of water 6,600 feet high. Okay? A mountain. Right? Same thing with sonar on a submarine on the bottom. Sees another submarine over 100 miles away. There should be a mountain of dirt between them over a mile high.
I would agree.
A mile, right? No curvature, no ball. So, the radius of the Earth is from the center of the Earth to the tip. And so as you move their radius, there's that curvature, okay? If the radius is longer, then you have a bigger ball. So some scientists are now saying, well, maybe the radius is longer. Hey, maybe, we can see too far. Well, the radius is longer. Well, then that negates the moon missions. That negates everything we know about every planet, star, sun, everything. Everything has to change because if the radius is bigger, everything is based on the radius. They don't have a radius of the Earth, right? And the way they say they got it is the most ridiculous thing ever. But if the distances that we see, even without infrared, that we can see super far now, the radius of the Earth is just under 4,000 miles. That's what they tell us right now. The distances that we can see would need a radius over 250,000 miles. If the Earth is big, 250,000 miles versus 4,000 miles radius, that's a big enough deception that you can go from there, but it's not. There's still no curvature. Whoever's talking, I can't hear you.
You're muted. Make sure you
ML,
unmute your microphone.
You might have to select your microphone in the Zoom settings because you're not muted on Zoom. So if you go into Zoom preferences and then click audio, make sure you select your microphone. Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Let me check for any questions because I'm watching on Zoom. I'll go over to YouTube and look.
Yeah. And let me tell you, while you're looking for the questions, here are your questions. What about seasons? What about sunsets? What about, ships over the horizon? We just went over that. What about day and night? Well, how come no one's fallen off the edge? These are all pre-programmed questions by Bill Nye, the lying guy with the bow tie. Okay. These are things that have been pushed into our heads by that failed comedian and his other cohort, Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's just a failed actor. They're nobody. Elon Musk. Nonsense. I'm going to send you guys a link to a video. You can link it under here after the show about Elon Musk. Everything about Elon Musk is a lie. He runs no companies. He's supposedly the CEO of the largest tunneling company in the world, the CEO of the largest solar company in the world, the CEO of the largest electric car company in the world, the CEO of PayPal, the CEO of the company that took over NASA, right? The guy's a moron. He does nothing. He's a puppet for the elite. Okay. And it's proven lies, right? There's a 5-minute video by Greg Reese. I'll send it to you in an email, and if you want to link it over the show afterwards.
Well, I knew he was all a bunch of crap when they showed the rocket go up in the air, and then the rocket came back to Earth the same exact way. But there was only one camera on it. You got $1 billion rocket. You can't have more than one camera to show us miles away from it.
Here's a whole bunch of cameras on one of his rockets. This is the dumbest thing ever. You watch the thing. This thing empty weighs 40 tons. Okay. Look at this thing going up. Look, what the heck's going on? Now look at the angle that we can see this. It's kind of a side angle. Now watch the shot. Now again, side angle, right? How high is this thing? I don't know. Maybe now look how high it is. How are we getting this side shot? Okay. Right. And then watch. Now this thing, the engines turn off and it's going to fall back to Earth. Look at the smoke. How fast is this thing moving? Look at the smoke. This thing is free falling back to Earth right now. Okay.
You wouldn't be able to see any smoke. That thing be like a missile headed back there.
Really, it's free fall. Look how it's going even slower now. Okay. Now this is CGI or a blimp. You know, NASA is the largest consumer of helium in the world. They own all the big helium companies. Wonder why that is.
And they have their own production company.
Now watch this. The 3 engines are going to turn on. It's going to look how high it is again. All of a sudden, it's ridiculous. But the 3 engines are going to turn on. It's going to flip over. A camera is going to go right underneath it, and then it's going to go down to 1 engine, and it's going to land right where it started. And watch the CGI smoke. Look at this. This is a movie production, right? People watch this and go, "Oh, that's not even real." You're right. It's not real, but they presented it as real. Look at this. Look at this burning crap firework thing, right? Look at this thing. Watch the smoke. That's fake smoke. Okay. That's CGI smoke. It's clear as day. Look at this thing. It's on fire, right?
Smoke and mirrors.
It's ridiculous, right? Everything about NASA, SpaceX, people are like, well, now the private industries are in it. Jeff Bezos just went up and what's his face did. Ridiculous. This is Jeff Bezos in his, can I say, penis looking rocket, right? Did you see that
Yeah.
thing? And
Yeah, you
look
can
how
say
they're
that.
filming it. I don't want to see what that motion looks like, but they are just literally yanking our chains.
Oh my
Okay?
goodness.
Yeah, this is what they show us, right? This is they love their sexual innuendos. They have sex in the clouds on the pictures of the planets. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. So I get a little heated when I talk sometimes.
Right. Yeah, that one I seen take off the other day. I was like, that looks like a giant flying, you know what?
Yeah. And then check this out. This is with Branson. They said he got 4.5 minutes of weightlessness. Well, do you think they turned the camera off at any point? No. Okay. They never show more. This is looped back and forth. And this is a video from P Brain, excellent video. They never show the 4 minutes of weightlessness. They only show like 3 to 4 or 5 seconds at a time. That's because it was all filmed in a 0G plane. You guys know how 0G planes work. They take that up. You get like 25 seconds of weightlessness. And so they did a few of those and he floated around. And of course they have the girl with the long hair, the long red hair. They love long red-headed girls on all of these things, right? If NASA was real, nobody would have long hair on the space station, but they always have the girls there with the hair all over, and it doesn't even flow. It's like sprayed like Bridezilla. Okay. It's ridiculous. So much nonsense.
Wow.
Yeah. And I can go on and show you all of
you just disproved all these people, like Musk. I have a question. Are satellites real?
So we, first you have to remember all of these motions. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour. We're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour. All of these are elliptical, speeding up and slowing down. They're not straight lines, right? But somehow we believe that all of these satellites are whizzing around the Earth, okay? Right? So you know what a geostationary satellite is? It's one that stays over the same point of land. That's what they tell us, right? So let's pretend this guy's a geostationary satellite. The Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour. So this thing has to be spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, right? And it's falling, but it's going so fast that at the right height where when it drops 1,000 feet, well, there's 1,000 feet of curvature, and that's why it stays in the same spot. The Earth is now it's orbiting, speeding up and slowing down, doing its ellipse for the year, and somehow it's following that also. The Earth is rocketing through space, and somehow it's following that motion also. Satellites are complete and total joke, right? And they never break down. All the satellites are all working, right? NASA is the largest.
You say they're just mostly balloons then?
Right. What we call satellites are balloons. NASA has tens of thousands of these things up there. They're crashing all over the world. The satellites that are crashing all over the world have one thing in common, or a couple things in common, but one of them is always a giant balloon. Okay. That NASA admits that some of the balloons that they have are as big as football stadiums.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. And that's why, we had the Hindenburg, which demonized hydrogen. This was a staged event, nonsense. And then there's a helium shortage. You know why? There's no helium shortage. There's infinite helium. Okay. But they want you to believe there's a helium shortage, because if helium was infinite and free, and you can get it, people's like, you know what? Let's build a dirigible company and we'll have flights like cruise ships in the air, right? Like they did in the 1800s. They had aircraft carrier size airships flying all across the plane, right? You can't have that on an Earth, or on a spinning Earth. Doesn't make any sense. So they don't want that, because then you can really have a solar panel and a fan, and you can travel anywhere you want. And they don't want us traveling anywhere we want, because we'll figure out what this place isn't. That's for sure. How you guys doing?
Wow. This is crazy.
Did we lose your buddy? Or
he's rebooting
okay.
his laptop because his mic wasn't connected to it.
Okay.
He just texted me. And Bonafide is somebody really important came to where he's at. I can't divulge who it is, but they're
I want
pretty
to
high
hear a story.
ranking.
There's a lot going on in this world. Why am I talking about flat Earth every day? Because if we get our freedom back, imagine that. Imagine somehow there's some sort of like something happens and we get our freedoms back, which isn't looking great with the way people are going. But let's say we get our freedoms back. The people that are trying to control this world, they know the truth of this world. If we're spinning out of control, lost in space, how long can we hold on to those freedoms? Not long. A decade, a year, a month? I don't know. Right? But if everybody wakes up, finds out their true divinity, finds out that they're special, finds out that we have tremendous power. And you know what? One person doing something by themselves, all right, there's some power there. Two people together, 100 times the power. A group of 100 people, a bazillion times the power, right? They're dividing us. They divided us by countries, all fake division. The countries, regions, sexes, races,
Right.
the genders are dividing the genders. Then they're separating us physically. Then they're between the pokey pokes and the unpokey pokes. Okay, so they're dividing us. They don't care what it is we believe, as long as we're divided.
Right. As long as we're fighting against each other.
Yeah, as long as we're fighting against each
divided.
other. Like, oh, look at those stupid people. They fund both sides of all the wars, right? Wars
Absolutely.
are just a depopulation tool that they have.
ML said to ask you this question. Ask Dave to explain the variable speeds that the Earth rotates around the sun and the solar system allegedly.
Yeah, so we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. That's supposedly consistent. And they've always said that we're slowing down. Wait, they always said that we're slowing down. Now they say we're speeding up. Okay. I don't know. It's ridiculous. NASA made an announcement that the Earth is we're 1/100th of a second longer. Oh, please. Oh, please. It's dumb. It's so dumb. Now we're taught that we have this elliptical orbit. And as we come around, we go faster and slower and faster and slower. How the heck is that possible? Right? How is that at all possible in any way? Right? We're going faster and slower, but people are building these rock perfectly balanced things, and we're speeding up and slowing down, right? Go in a car, you're on a perfectly smooth road, perfectly straight, you're going 100 miles an hour, get a dinner plate and fill it with water to the brim. You might be able to hold on to it. Now have that car start turning. Okay? Just a slight turn. What's going to happen to that water?
It's going to start spilling.
It's going to slosh right out of the plate, right? But we have all of these ridiculous motions, and we have lakes that are perfect mirrors, right? Perfect mirrored lakes. We're not moving anywhere. Use your God-given senses and look around. You're not moving. All the luminaries in the sky are circling around us. Now, they tell us that stars are trillions of miles away. The closest star, other than our sun, which they tell us is a star, the closest star is 4.5 light years. That's 25 trillion miles. Okay. So follow me on this. And by the way, this is where people go, oh, I can't do the math, because they didn't teach you how to think. This is super easy to figure out. If you were traveling 1 mile every second, how far until you went 1,000,000,000,000 miles? So it would be 1,000,000,000,000 seconds, right? A mile a second.
Yeah.
Trillion miles is 1,000,000,000,000 seconds. How long would that be to go 1,000,000,000,000 miles? How long is 1,000,000,000,000 seconds?
I'm not a mathematician.
You're,
Tell
right, you're
me.
not a mathematician. You can do it if you had a calculator. Want to take a guess? If you guess within a week, I'll give you 3 Bitcoins.
Right.
Just take a guess. Just take a wild stab.
I don't know. 10 years.
Yeah, close. 31,000 years.
Holy.
Okay.
Close.
So check this out. If you were traveling at a mile a second, 31,000 years later, you would be 1/25th of your journey to the nearest star.
There's no way.
Thank you.
So are you saying the solar system don't exist either?
Absolutely not. It's complete and total nonsense, right? So what is the solar system then? What, the soul lure system. They're stealing your soul. They're stealing your divinity. Your
Wow.
soul is a spark of God. We are here in this physical simulation. That's the way I like to describe it. And we have this spark of God in us, which we call our soul. And our goal is to maintain control of our soul by not breaking anyone's free will and not selling our soul for whatever you sell your soul for, right? That's it. The rules are simple. Don't break anyone else's free will. Be a good person. Help the person to your left. If everyone did that, everybody would be helped, except the one guy on the right. So what's up there? Does this look like a star trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of miles away, or does this look like something completely different? This is the star Arcturus, I think, or Capella. What is it? This one is Arcturus. It is small. It's close. I don't know what it is. It looks sentient, if you ask me. Here's Capella. Totally different. Slow it down. You see geometric
It looks
patterns
like
there.
energy.
Yeah, energy. All of the all of the wandering stars. I'm losing my voice. Which used to be are now called planets. Those look very similar. Our optics have outgrown their lives. Look up a star in a jar where they send sound waves into a jar of water, and these little stars appear that look just like our sun. Okay.
Wow.
So what is going on up there? I don't know. But all of the planets are named after gods. Look at this thing. This is Mars. It doesn't look like the nonsense NASA shows us. We can go out and look at these things ourselves. NASA will show us all of these. Look how beautiful these are, right? Look at Saturn. So amazing, right? This was taken by the Voyager fake spacecraft.
Right.
But when we look, this is what we see with the most powerful zoom lenses. Okay.
Right.
What are they? Well, they affect our lives every day. They say billionaires have astrologers. Sorry. This is I don't know what's going on up there, but when you take their pictures and you bring them into Photoshop or whatever, and you zoom in on them, they're nothing like they tell us, right? We can take them apart. You zoom in on the picture off of NASA's website, zoom in, crank up the levels. You can see that this thing was put together with primitive techniques. This was supposedly from the Voyager. This is a fake photograph.
Right.
This is the famous picture of Saturn. What is Saturn? It's a light. Don't know what it is, right? The rings are the same brightness as Saturn looks like a sphere. I don't know what it is, right? But again, you don't know if it's a sphere, right? You know how we only see one side of the moon? I'm going to show you a couple moons, and you have to tell me quickly if which one is a sphere. Is that a sphere? Well, it's a half a sphere, so it's kind of hard to say. Is this one a sphere?
No.
This one a sphere?
Mark, are you there? I mean, ML.
Can't hear him. Unplug your microphone if you have a computer mic. That's flat. Is this a sphere?
Oh.
My point is, you can't say, you don't know what it is. Anything in the distance kind of looks like a sphere.
Right.
Um,
It's an illusion, like an illusion.
yeah, well, and here's the other thing. So what if it's a sphere, right? The pool balls on a pool table are spheres. Does that mean the table's a sphere? The lights in your ceiling are roundish, probably. Does that mean your floor is a sphere? You don't look up to see what's under your feet. You look at your feet, okay? You look at large bodies of water at rest, they lay flat. This is the most important topic of our time because everything is tied to it. Everything. What's going on in the cryptocurrency market? Well, the cryptocurrency market needs people to wake up to the reality of our world because that's what's going to take down the bankers. That's what's going to take down the governments. Govern, control, mint is the mind, right? Everything, the getting our freedoms back from these psychopaths, from what they're doing to the world, involves you realizing who you are, where you are, what you are, and the power of your own mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I can hear you, ML.
Sorry.
There you are, ML. ML.
Hey, David. Good to meet you, brother.
Good
Some
to meet
amazing stuff, ain't it, ML?
From the way you're moving your head, I think you're already a flat earther, right?
Yeah, well, the crazy thing is, Dave, that last week when me and him were talking, he was telling me about these churches and these hidden civilizations, and he was telling me about the free energy they created back in the 1800s, and it had something to do with Tesla. And
yeah,
he
absolutely.
says, these people have been wiped off the earth. He said, it's a reset.
Let me share my screen and show you where to find that information. This is, I quit my own company to start doing this. And because I realized, I had the American dream, what I thought was the American dream. I worked in corporate America. Then I started my own company with a couple partners. I was making more money than I ever thought I could make. And I'm like, with what's going on in the world right now, it doesn't matter how much money I have. The world is going to go to heck or whatever. I'm trying not to swear.
Right. Yeah.
And I think I need to spread this message. I got a inspiration like that said, walk away, right? Like on my vision board 10 years ago, I said I want to be the CEO of my own company. And I kind of laughed as I wrote that on my vision board because I'm like, I don't know how to be the CEO of my own company. And 5 years later, I was the CEO of my own company. Okay. It's like the craziness. And then I walked away from it all. And the way I walked away from it is I made this app for myself. Then I started, people like, hey, Dave, you got to put that in the app store. And I started, it started making enough money where it could just pay my bills. I'm like, you know what? It was like a sign I got. I was like, should I walk away from my company? And then I went to pay my bills that night. And the money that came in from the app was just enough to cover my bills. I'm like,
God's hands, brother. God's hands in it.
That's a sign. And then I said, can I have another sign, please? And I got two more signs. One of them was, I don't even want to say it. It has to do with the Clintons. And I was like, all right, I'm out. Okay.
Well, I actually have had your app for a couple years now, David. It's an excellent app. And I've shared it with a lot of people.
If you hit the web button, up comes all of this stuff. Bottom right, Tataria mud floods, big, huge list there. That's forever. But the center one is this guy that came onto the scene called Iwar Anon, right?
Yes.
The first video, have you watched it? You watched
all 5 hours.
Yeah, but there's also another series in there that
That's right.
And it gets into mud floods and all sorts of stuff because it's all tied together. This free energy. There's technology that's so much bigger than what we can even imagine, right?
Yes.
And it's all being hidden from us to keep us as good worker slaves.
That's right.
Just real quick on the app. If you go back to the home screen, it shows you how the sun and stars and moons work. It shows, what I like about the app is sometimes I look at my app and go, oh, there's a sliver moon in the sky. And I look up during the day. I'm like, there's the moon. And I wouldn't have seen it. And seeing the moon is something people need to take more, just care about more because there's something really special about
the high holy days.
Yeah, there you go. So the app challenge I have for anyone doubting this is every day there's a new featured video. I say just watch the video every day. I have longer videos on the weekend, shorter ones during the week. I try to do that mostly. And I just say, when you're having your breakfast, watch your video. When you're on your lunch break, whatever. Watch the video.
You got me hooked. I want it right now.
Yeah, watch the video every day. And after 2 weeks, you will be a flat earther. So get ready for some scorn. But actually, the scorn's getting less and less. You might lose a couple friends. Maybe your parents will disown you, but that's okay. They'll come back eventually. And then if you have any questions,
David,
you hit the question mark.
Your app for everybody.
The app is called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. But all the top 21 questions are here. You know, what about ships over the horizon, which we went over? What about seasons? What about eclipses? You know, if I click what about eclipses, up comes a playlist of videos that YouTube doesn't want you to see. And you watch these videos and you're like, oh, wow, that's what's going on, or that's not what's going on. And it'll literally, you know, just go read the reviews in the App Store, because it's the highest rated app in the App Store and Google Play Store. And just make sure you get the right one, because Google Play, there's already like a Flat Earth Society knockoff under the same name. You can get it. Just don't send me an email telling me my app stinks, because it's not my app.
Hey, David, I got a question for you, brother.
Go ahead. Yeah. Could
you share with our viewers the lawsuit that Zen Garcia won, that's on record, that he went to court for and won on behalf of the Flat Earth?
Yeah, so I don't know the exact specifics, but basically he he put out a cash reward or whatever, and some guy challenged him and took him to court. $10,000. Yeah, and took him to court, and in court they said no. They said you didn't prove the Earth is a globe, or that works perfectly on a flat Earth. Here's the thing: everything falls into three baskets. Works on a flat Earth. Lots of things work on a flat Earth, like circumnavigation east and west.
Right.
Works on a flat Earth and a ball Earth, like circumnavigation east and west. Okay. And then only works on a globe Earth, like circumnavigation south. Well, guess what? No one's ever done it. Okay. Three baskets, nothing ever falls into that last basket. Nothing ever. Because if it did, I'd be out 3 Bitcoins. Okay.
Yeah.
So people go, well,
so
what do I mean?
What
already
shared? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, I was going to ask if you'd if already shared with the viewers. One of the interesting facts that I love is how fast the Earth rotates, but then we're also told how fast the Earth rotates around the sun and how fast we rotate in the solar system. On top of that, those 3 different quantifiable or unquantifiable speeds.
Well, I have a new challenge for people. Here's a new challenge. Find me something dumber than the heliocentric model. Okay. Anything. Okay. There's nothing. And that's the thing. Flat Earth is dumb. Well, you don't even know what the Flat Earth model is, and you don't even know what your model is. We have Austin from Wits It Gets It channel touring the country. He was in Times Square, Niagara Falls. He's going everywhere. And he gets on his microphone and he just preaches flat Earth. People gather around, old school. And he goes, I've got $100 for anybody. And when people start saying, flat Earth is stupid, he's like, I got $100 to ask you 3 questions about your globe. And I'll tell you what the first one is. How many times does the Earth spin in 24 hours? And that should be pretty easy, right? Most people get it wrong. It's once. Right. And he goes, you just need 2 more questions, you win the $100. He still has his $100. The other question is like, what's the diameter of the Earth? What's the circumference of the Earth? How far is the sun? How fast is it orbiting? They know nothing, but they're defending it like it's, the most important thing ever. Here's the thing. They've convinced us that the Earth is a globe before we can talk. So it's the foundation of everything we've wrapped our worldview around. Okay. And it's really difficult to change that. But guess what? Look at this old man. I'm older than most of you. Okay. And I was able to change, flat earthers, no matter what we show you, you'll never change your mind. No, we changed our mind to the unpopular thing. Show us something that'll bring us back to the popular thing and we'll do it. Right. But there's nothing at all.
Yes. Wow. What got me convinced is him talking about the lakes. If the Earth was rotating, wouldn't the water spill out of all the lakes and the oceans, and there'd be water, 80 feet of water when you looked across the water because either it's going up or down?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of scientism, says because of the spin of the Earth, the centrifugal force, the water bulges at the equator 14 miles high. All right. And I used to go, that's cool. That makes a lot of sense. Centrifugal force, right? Well, first, why are all the continents not drifting to the equator because of that same centrifugal force? 14 miles high. So when you're flying from Alaska to South America, Santiago, at what point do you triple your altitude because you're only 5 miles high just to skim over a hump of water? At what point does that happen? Okay.
Right.
No, you stay at the same altitude the whole
It's
way.
the dumbest thing ever. I mean, and this is what they say. You know, he's like, well, you can't see it from space because it's 14 miles is nothing. Neil goes, with all of the mountains and the valleys and the ocean, he goes, if you reduced it to the size of a pool cue ball in proportion, it would be the smoothest cue ball ever. I'm calling BS on that, but it's all dumb. It's all just stupid. That's my new challenge. This is fresh in your show. Find me something dumber than the globe.
You got me convinced,
I'm offering
bro.
100 Bitcoins for that. 100.
Wow, that's some big money right now.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, but it all makes sense, doesn't it? What do you think, Bonafide?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was a believer before the show ever started, so y'all ain't gotta worry about me.
I'm a bunch of flat earthers. Anyone that's listening to this and has a show with an audience that doesn't believe that the earth is a ball, reach out. Info at the Flat Earth Podcast. Book me. Okay. Let me come on your show. Even if you believe that the earth is flat and your audience doesn't, let me help you. Let me help you bring them around, because this is the key to our freedom. We're having a conference in South Carolina on October. If anyone's near South Carolina, it's called Flattoberfest. You can find it at flatearthfestivals.com. It's going to be phenomenal. We've done it before.
What part of South Carolina, Dave?
It's in this one's in Spartansburg, right near Greensville.
It's in your hometown, Bonafide.
Yeah.
Where at?
Spartansburg.
Spartansburg, South Carolina.
What? Well, first thing you got to do is learn how to say it. Spartanburg.
Whatever, you Southerners.
He one of them country boys anyway.
Spartanburg.
All right, so where is it at? What's the location?
Go to flatearthfestivals.com and click on Flattoberfest. All the information.
What's the girl's name that puts it on?
Karen B.
Yeah, she's on my Facebook.
Yeah. So hit her up.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was in Spartanburg.
And the first day is all the presentations and people have booths and everyone.
I'll be there.
It's more of a social event. And then the next day it's like a Flat Earth Music Festival. It is so fun. It's unbelievable. And when you're around awake, aware, non-face muzzle wearing, healthy blooded people, if you know what I'm saying, it's amazing. Every conversation you have is an amazing conversation. Every person you meet becomes a new lifelong friend. It is amazing, because when you become a flat earther, you're going to lose some friends. You're going to lose some family members.
I've lost so many friends defending this country and the former president.
Yeah.
What the hell's a few more going to hurt?
Check this out. We have this a group that's fighting, the crap that they're doing in schools and the muzzling of our children and all this stuff. And it's called Greenwich Patriots. Okay. And we have these red, white, and blue signs, these lawn signs that says, do you like freedom? Greenwich Patriots, .org or whatever it is. Right. People steal these signs. We're catching like these Karens stealing the signs. Like all it says is, do you like freedom?
How sad. Sad.
It's unbelievable.
They like government checks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I think the Fraud News Network needs a report from this thing.
That's as bad as Bryant having people in Orlando asking him to take his racist Liberty water out of the drink machines. Remember that?
Oh my goodness.
It's the mind control is amazing. How, we've become our own prison guards. The people are literally, they just don't get it. The mind control is so strong. It's like, I go out, when I go outside, I'm bewildered about everything. First, the people are insane. Okay. It's amazing how insane they are. Second, walk into nature. I'm like, that entire rock cliff is a friggin' tree. Okay.
Exactly.
It's like everywhere I go, nothing is as it seems. I'm like, this isn't
That's right.
This is like a quarry. Like everything you see is not what they told you it was.
Wow.
It's amazing. And I'm the crazy one, right? I seem like the crazy one, that's for sure.
Well, you know, what's interesting, David, is, 20, 25 years ago, when we were starting to talk about all these conspiracies that are actually now coming to light, we've actually been vindicated. You're being vindicated.
You know the difference between a
remember Rob
conspiracy theory
Skiba.
and a fact?
Yeah, and I remember several years ago, Rob Skiba was a huge anti-flat earther at first.
Yes,
It
but
just
he
didn't-
looked.
It just didn't. And then he did his own research. He's like, I'm not going to believe David. I'm not going to believe any. I'm going to do
Don't
my own
believe
fact
me.
finding.
Don't
That's
believe
right.
me.
And
Do it
he's now
yourself. But here's the thing. People think, Dave, where did you get your information? On a from a YouTube video? Yeah. That's where I saw someone said, hey, look at that door. Go look at it yourself. I'm going to show you here. I'm going to document it. I'm going to show you what it is. And then you're like, oh, that's pretty well documented, but let me go do it myself because I don't trust anything I see. That's fine. Go do it yourself. You can do it yourself. People are lazy. Okay.
That's right.
People are
exactly
lazy.
right.
I'm sorry. That's why we're in the state we're in our nation. Like we said the other night, we have been in a state of complacency for 100+ years.
Yeah.
And this is where we're at.
So have you guys seen my Ruth interview?
No.
So Ruth, I was interviewing her about the World's Fairs, 102 years old in February of 2020, before the nonsense started. Okay. And then she had such a great memory. She was telling me about her 5th grade birthday party and everything. And I was like, where'd you go to school? She's like, so-and-so school in Hamden, Connecticut. And this is at an old age home where my mother was living. And I said, what did they teach you in school about the earth? Never mentioned flat earth. And she goes, they taught me the earth was flat. And then I was like, oh my God. And I told her all about it, brought tears to her eyes. It was amazing, right? Video started going viral. And I started going on all these shows. And I said, everyone needs to go to old age homes because we don't have much time left to speak with a centenarian, somebody over 100 years old. We need to get the people that are most lucid and get them. And there are other same stories with people of that same age. And then the next week, bam, lockdown. Nobody can get into any nursing home anywhere on earth.
Imagine that.
Wow.
It could be all my fault.
So you would say that, David, would you say that all pilots know that the earth is flat?
Not all of them. Some of them are just idiotic bus drivers. Okay. And they don't realize it. Right. But most of them do. Okay. Most of them do. Most of them do. On the app, you hit what about pilots? All sorts of testimony from pilots, right? Think about this. If you're flying at 550 miles an hour, in an hour, the earth would have dropped away 30 miles. Okay.
Wow.
In 1 hour. So you'd be 30 miles higher in the air in an hour unless you kept nosing down. Well, gyroscopes hold rigidity in space. So as the earth is curving away, that gyroscope would be still level with your original destination, your original spot of wherever your origin. But they don't. Okay. Gyros don't precess. That's how they work. They don't precess. They hold rigidity in space. And that's how you know where down is or where level is. So, when the plane turns, the gyroscope stays level. Plane turns, the gyroscope stays level. Up and down.
No, I don't. I really don't. I just.
Let me tell y'all something. This is my buddy Mike.
Hey,
Yeah.
Mike.
He is still a skeptic,
Hey, Mike.
and he's a pilot.
He's a skeptic.
A skeptic, yeah. He had no idea until I told him and his
So-
wife yesterday.
So think about this. Okay. So the earth at the equator is spinning 1,000 miles an hour. It's because the earth is 24,000, just over 24,000 miles around at the equator. So if it goes around once a day, 24 hours, it's moving at 1,000 miles an hour, just rounding out numbers. You with me? Everybody with me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here.
So it's going 1,000 miles an hour.
Yes,
What
sir.
if you were 1 mile from the North Pole? All right. You got the earth at the equator. It's spinning 1,000 miles an hour, 1,000 miles an hour. But if you were a mile from the North Pole, 1,000 miles an hour would bring you around once a day. Okay. If you were a mile from the North Pole,
Right.
you'd still go around the North Pole once a day, but you're only a mile from the North Pole. So your circumference, if you remember your basic math, it's 3.14 miles. So over the course of 24 hours,
Right.
you're going like an eighth of a mile an hour, less than a mile an hour, while the person sitting on the runway at the equator is moving 1,000 miles an hour. Everybody with me?
Right.
Yep.
So
Yes,
I'm
sir.
on a runway at the North Pole. I have my sideways momentum of 0.18 mile per hour. I take off and I fly to Ecuador, and I want to land on a north-south oriented runway that's moving sideways at 1,000 miles an hour.
That's going to be a little
Anybody tell me
difficult.
how I get that sideways momentum when the plane can only accelerate to 500 miles an hour, 550, whatever. How do I get that sideways momentum?
But it's the gravity, man.
Gravity. It's gravity because it grabs on. It grabs on. Okay. It grabs
Well,
on.
that's what the cue ballers would tell you. It's the gravity.
That you are traveling in the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is moving at the same speed as the Earth at that point. So when you're up in the air, it's not like you are disconnected from the motion. You're still going with the motion, the circumferential motion of the Earth, because you're in its atmosphere. Now, if you were up in space away from that atmosphere, yes, it would be different, but you're not.
So where's the line?
Cool
Where's
story,
the
bro.
line between the atmosphere? Where's the line drawn between the atmosphere and space? Who drew that line, and where is the line?
Well,
Yeah,
it's because
and here's the other thing. The you say that the air is velcroed onto the Earth. Well, if the Earth is spinning, wouldn't the air higher up have to go faster just to keep up with the spin, and probably would lag behind? Let me just show you something. I'm gonna share my screen again real quick. Whoa. You know what, guys? Give me 20. Why is my battery not charged? I'm gonna lose my power in a second.
The atmosphere done it.
It's gravity.
The atmosphere done it. Hold on.
He got his gangster glasses on.
I'm gonna lose power for some reason.
Hey, have we got some of them on this app right here? I gotta get me some of them glasses.
They call them gangster glasses.
Hold on.
I think you can add them.
I'm gonna lose.
I like that hat you got on.
He's gonna lose the power. More
I'm
power,
gonna lose
Scotty.
the power.
Scotty,
Shut-
more power.
Your Mac is gonna shut down in any second.
Captain, I'm giving it all she's got.
God, I need more power.
Damn it, Captain, I'm giving it all she's got.
what is it?
I don't know what it is. It's mighty
It's a
strong.
liqueur. I like
No,
the
I don't.
bottle. You want to taste it? It's some kind of orangey liqueur. It had the word grand in it somewhere.
Oh,
Uh-oh,
that's
the
great.
atmosphere got him.
That's it.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Did he go
it's
dead?
All right.
interesting.
Now
There
I
you
gotta
go.
get my microphone back, and I'm in business.
Uh-oh, he's plugged in. He's charged up. And he didn't have to run off the end of the
All right.
earth. He's right back.
He's locked and loaded.
Back in business. All
It's
right.
rotation of the earth. He made it back already.
So I used to think the same thing. All right. But while you're flying through this liquid air, what's making you speed up to 1,000 miles an hour? And you can't say gravity because the air is moving. A summer breeze can blow the air left and right and up and down. It's not velcroed to the earth. And if we look at the actual wind pattern, so I'm going to pull up the app again. I'm going to hit the wind pattern button. I'm going to put it to 40,000 feet. And if you look at 40,000 feet, these white and pink, the white and that big circle going around the outside is going like 200 to 300 miles an hour eastward. The earth is spinning to the east, and somehow the air is outrunning the earth by a couple hundred miles an hour.
You understand that?
That's
Yeah.
against the laws of physics. That is
It breaks
never
every law of physics. Every law of physics.
Exactly.
You can't have air pressure next to a vacuum without a container. Air pressure needs a container. Now, If you had a big tank of air, hydrogen, helium, oxygen, whatever, at the bottom of the tank, it's going to be more dense. At the top, it's going to be thinner because of buoyancy and density and just the way things settle. But the pressure is because it's in a container. We are in a container, okay? And that's why the air is thinner at the top of Mount Everest. It's thicker down in Death Valley. And we're in this container, period.
All right, David, what we got here, Mike is a truth seeker, and he is very interested in learning.
But skeptical.
But skeptical because we all was at one time.
We should all be skeptics. Thank
perfect-
God he's a skeptic. Otherwise, he'd be gullible.
We've got a perfect student here tonight that is willing to learn and has all the questions. I'm sorry we couldn't get on earlier, but Lynn's long toothed, you know.
Yeah, he's long-winded. So
Yep.
let me ask you this, Mike. David, can you put up the link to get your app so everybody can purchase it?
Yeah. So if you just, it's right here. If you're not watching on your phone, just point your camera towards this and get it. Let me tell you something first before you get it. It's $2.99, one-time fee. You have it forever. Read the reviews if you're unsure, because the reviews will turn you into a flat earther. There is a pop-up that pops up and says, would you like to subscribe? And people forced me to put this in there. They wanted a donation link, but you're not allowed to put a donation link. So I put a subscribe link on. All it gets you is you don't get the pop-up anymore. It's once every 24 hours, once every time the earth spins around a full rotation. And you can exit out the second it comes up. There's no ads, there's no nothing. Okay.
Right.
But I have to tell you, there is a new feature coming up that will require a subscription, but don't worry about it. The app is great without this new feature, and you get most of the feature anyway. And it's only 99 cents a month, but don't do that until every day when you wake up, you grab your phone to see what the next video is. If you do that for more than a month, maybe you want to donate 99 cents. All right.
I'll pay for it. I'm going
to.
to
You can do $11 for the year and see how it goes.
Just so you can stir the soup, right, Bonafide?
Yeah,
that's right.
And people say, well, why are you charging for the new feature, which is flat earthers near me? You can turn it on and see all the other flat earthers near you, and then you can message them. You can message them. Like, check this out. Let's say I go to St. Louis or Chicago or wherever, and I was like, I want to go out and grab a beer somewhere. I could turn it on and go, hey, there's a couple of flat earthers at the little pub, or I'm at Jones Beach in Long Island. I'm like, hey, there's a flat earther. Hey, I can message them like, hey, I'm the guy with the backwards hat, and I'm over in the tiki bar. Come have a drink with me. If somebody messaged me in the middle of nowhere, like, hey, I'm a flat earther, I'm like, where are you? I'd run over there and give you a hug, because one, I know that you didn't get this, right? Because no flat earthers got that.
Right.
Yeah.
You pert near flat earther.
What's that?
Well, no, I wouldn't say I'm pert near.
I'm gonna buy you this app right here, and you're gonna be a flat earther. But that's tricky.
I got it now.
Yeah.
So what's even
So listen,
David,
the app does a bunch of things. Just every day. Also, make sure go into your phone notification settings. Go into settings and notifications. Find FE clock and make sure you say show notifications all the time. You only get one a day at 8:01 a.m. Eastern usually, and it just tells you what the daily video is. So it's, hey, new video's up. Take a look. It's just one a day. And just watch the video every day. And then also, if you don't want to wait, next to the video icon is the archive button, and it has every video shown by months for the last 2.5 years. Okay. So
I got a question for you.
Endless information. Go ahead. Hit me.
What is your motivation?
My motivation is to regain our freedom so our children have a life to live, so we have a life to live. This is not about money. Okay, not at all. We need to take down the money system. We need to take down the bankers are the rulers of this world. They're the ones that are controlling everything, and money's fake, right? They don't need money. They just print it out of thin air. They don't even print it anymore. It's just a
keystrokes.
Yeah,
that's right.
It doesn't matter, and they use it to control us, right? And they extort us when we make some. Oh, you made some, give it to me, right? That's extortion. Okay. And all of that needs to go away. And none of that's going to happen until people wake up and take back to realize who they are. Remember the documentary with Keanu Reeves called The Matrix?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
So-
a documentary.
It was a documentary. At the beginning, Neo's depressed. Neo's depressed. I believe a lot of the depression in this world is because people, their soul knows the truth, but their mind has been programmed by the tell-lie vision. Okay.
Spot
So they're
on.
lost. They don't know the true world, and their soul's trying to speak to them. Hey, it's flat. There's a creator. There's all of this stuff, and they're just lost in the fear. They're lost everywhere. So that creates depression. Well, look at Neo at the beginning of the movie. He was depressed. He was sleeping a lot, and he's trying to figure out something's wrong with the world. Something's wrong with the world. And then he woke up. He got red pilled, right? And he woke up. And by the end of the movie, look at the Neo at the end of the movie, standing up tall, knew who he was, took his power back. That's the exact analogy of what's going on here. Okay. We could all be Neo at the end of the movie and not Neo at the beginning of the movie. We just need to wake up, realize who we are, and take it back. This is the most important message. And here's the thing. There's so many good truth tellers out there. I see what you guys do, and there's so many people fighting for this country, but they fight against flat Earth because their core, it's at the center of everything. They're not ready to handle this type of thing. They're like, oh my God, it's going to invalidate all the things it did. I used to do a show called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole about all the deceptions that are happening. Maybe the one in New York, the one in Connecticut, the one at the marathon, right? And I was like, and then all of a sudden I found out about flat Earth, and I'm like, I can't say this on the air. It's going to discredit everything I did. I can't. But then I realized after 6 months of holding it, I'm like, this is the most important truth ever. Nothing else matters. I can wake people up to those things. I called it exposing the big three, and they go right back to sleep. They go back to their slave job. They go back, and they don't care, right? But this affects you every day on a cellular level. No one wakes up to flat Earth and doesn't think about it every day. And guess what? So many people say, you know what? My life has gotten so much better since I discovered that we're not on a spinning ball and I didn't evolve from pond scum. My life has gotten so much better because it brings them to the creator.
Right. Absolutely.
That's right, brother. Your soul, all of our souls are connected to our Heavenly Father's soul. And because He is trying to get this truth into us, our souls are vibrating, and they want it, our souls thirst for truth.
Let me tell you something. If I was listening to a podcast, your podcast, 5 years ago, before I found out about the flat Earth, and I heard you say that, I would delete you, I would unsubscribe, and I would never listen to you again because you're a crazy religious fanatic. But now I see the truth. Okay. So I walk a tight line. I try not to talk about that, but I have to right now. But I have to bring it up because there's so many people that don't believe in that. That's why I never lead with the Bible. There's so much good stuff in the Bible that proves the earth is flat. It's amazing. But I don't know enough about it. I don't know, like my co-host, Matt Long, Woke Town. Check out his channel, Woke Town. Lots of his videos are featured in the app. Great stuff. He's got a video. If anyone goes to church and has a pastor that they like and they want to wake him up to flat Earth, he's got a video called Dear Pastor. Woke Town, one word, Dear Pastor. Find that video. All right, it's actually in the app. In the app, if you go to religious, like in the app, let me show you. You go to the web button and the bottom, Biblical Flat Earth. And if you open that up comes the playlist, and it is, where is it? It's in here somewhere. That's Matt's face right there. But it's called, you can find his channel there. But if you find Dear Pastor, send that to your pastor. It is a great, less than 10 minutes. And it basically talks about his journey and how he found flat Earth. It's going to wake up so many people. You wake up a pastor, then he's going to wake up his entire congregation. Okay.
Yes.
This is what this is all about. Waking up people, because this is going to go viral. Right. And that's going to be, the end of a lot of things. So we're heading into some crazy times. But the thing is, if we come out the other side and we're still lost in space, spinning out of control, we've gained nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like everybody's scared to speak any of this. I'm not afraid.
Does it sound like whack job?
Nope, not at all.
My wife just got me a whack job. That's
Here's
kind of
the
like a
thing.
whack.
So I tell people, if you're in a relationship, you have a husband, wife, and one of them's a flat earther and one of them's not, that's a problem. But the flat earther has the advantage because you're
he's
never
right.
going, nobody ever goes back to the globe, honestly.
Yep.
And it's very likely that the glober will come over to flat earth. Here's the thing. If you're in a relationship like that, here's my advice. Say to your spouse, hey, do you love me? And if they love you, if you really have a relationship, say, I need you to do this challenge with me. We're just going to watch the daily video each morning at breakfast or whatever. Or we watch it. We both go to work. We come home when we have dinner and we talk about the video just for 5 minutes, just one a day.
She's
right?
scared her family. She's scared her family's going to call her crazy.
You know what? That's the problem. People are afraid of what other people think. Guess what? I don't care what anyone thinks about
Who cares?
me. Okay.
That's
I don't
right,
care.
right.
And when you let that go, you everything is better. But forget it. Tell her, stay in the closet for now. Just you're my partner. Let's just watch the daily video each day, whether we watch it
I
together
knew Bonafide was in the closet.
or we watch it separately. And then we talk about it and that's it. Move on. Next one. You know what?
That's right.
And not every video is going to resonate with you. You're like, that one, I don't know. That's
Hey,
fine.
hold on
Let
one
it go.
minute. I got more. Honey, I'm going to ask you a question. Out of all the crazy things that I've ever told you, how many have I been wrong on?
Well, she's having
Maybe
to think a
this-
long time.
Where's
Yeah,
that
this
cricket
she said
sound?
maybe. She said maybe this is the one.
So here's a question. Can I ask her a question? The question
Okay.
I have a question for her. What's your number one reason you think the earth is a globe?
Because she was taught it in school.
Yeah. Well, you were taught a lot of
Oh,
things in school.
Okay, so because the moon is round, all the other planets are round.
Okay, stop right there. Let's
Nope.
address these real quickly. So is the moon first, our pool table, are the balls on a pool table round?
Yes,
Yes.
Is the pool table round?
no,
Are the lights in your ceiling have any curvature to them?
yes,
Do the floor have any curvature?
no,
What difference does it make? So look at these. Are these all spheres? This one's not a
Right.
sphere.
No, you're right.
Is this
Go
a
ahead.
sphere? Is this a sphere? This looks like a sphere, right? But it's not.
Yeah.
It's flat. It's flat. Okay. So I don't know what shape the moon is, and neither do you. Okay. So the next, and no offense, I love you, by the way. So,
And neither does NASA.
and neither, well,
Yeah,
NASA lies. I can
right.
show you NASA lies, but the other question
Yeah.
was I was going to show you planets. So here's Mars. Does this look like a sphere to you? This is Mars through our highest
Nope.
zoom optics. Mars is a light within our system. You look up at Mars. Next time Mars is in the sky on a clear night, it's brighter than any star. You have to believe that a dusty, dirty ball farther than we are from the sun is reflecting sunlight back and it's brighter than a star. That scientifically doesn't make any sense. It would get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer.
Not at all.
Right? When we look at the moon on a full moon night, you can read a book in the middle of the wilderness on a full moon night, because the moon is so bright. Well, look at these liars on the moon. Does this look bright enough to reflect to Earth and look this bright? Every time if you double the distance to something, or half the distance to something, it gets 4 times brighter. Okay, so if you looked at the moon and said it was 1 lumen, it's more like 10 lumens on a full moon, maybe even more. And you went halfway to the moon, it's 4 lumens. Cut that in half, it's 16 lumens. Cut that in half, it's 64 lumens. Go all the way to 100 miles from the moon, it's like 100 million lumens. It's ridiculous. It's so bright it would melt your face. And that's what it would have to be if you follow the inverse square law of light, but it's not. This is a lie. The moon is within our sky. Next time there's a full moon out during the day, which won't be now because it's full, you can look and there's blue sky beyond the moon. There's blue sky beyond the moon. What does that mean? Right? Here's one. Nobody knows how far the sun is or what it is. I think it's a focused point of light, but there's times where you can look at the sun and there's clouds above it, clouds below it, clouds in front of it,
That's right.
clouds behind it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's clouds behind it.
Yeah.
How do you get clouds behind the sun?
Yeah. Right?
Exactly.
I have
Yeah.
another question. Is there a point where we could walk off the end of the earth?
So they tell us that the Earth it's again, it's not a disk. It's like the edge of a lake. So you get to the edge of the Earth, and there's Antarctica, the edge. So
It's
what do you mean beyond Antarctica? We don't know. No one's allowed out there. Perhaps the dome terminates out there. Yep. You know, there was an Encyclopedia Americana in 1959. Remember Ruth in did we talk about Ruth? Yeah, we talked about Ruth, right?
Yeah.
Ruth.
Yes. Yep.
In the 1920s, she was taught that the Earth was flat. In the 1930s, all the schools in Croatia were still teaching flat Earth, right? In 1959, the Encyclopedia Americana in the Antarctica section said that at 85 degrees or 80 degrees south, 80 or 85, I forget, the dome is at 13,000 feet. In the encyclopedia. Dare you to find that encyclopedia today. But there's videos of the encyclopedia.
I would
They
have had
talked
it.
about the height of the dome at 85 degrees south.
Okay, when was Admiral Byrd's discovery?
So Admiral Byrd flew out over at Antarctica in the 1940s and 1950s, and he said he found more land bigger than the United States beyond the poles. That's a problem on a ball, beyond the poles, right? And filled with resource that no human has ever stepped foot upon. He went on television, which is kind of new at the time, you know, on the news, and then he disappeared, and then he died like a year later, mysteriously. Young guy.
Yep.
Okay. And then no one's ever, and then all of a sudden, wait, all the countries are fighting for resources all over the world. We find unclaimed land that has unlimited resources that no one's on. There's no animals to worry about. And they create a treaty where a couple dozen countries signed on. Now they've all signed on, where nobody is allowed to explore there. And no one's even allowed to question the treaty until the year 2041.
Wow.
Because we can't disturb the penguins.
Now, what was the year? What year was that?
1950, 1949, 1950.
And it
Anyway, the
can't be-
Antarctic Treaty
can't
was
be-
1959.
And it can't be disclosed until when?
The year 2041, it can't even be discussed. And then we'll kick it down the road another 60 years if we're still here to talk about it.
Yeah, and if you try to go to the Antarctica,
What?
you will be. If you try to go to the Antarctica, you will be intercepted by military.
Right. So
you won't get within 500 miles to the Antarctica.
right, and it has
You're
happened where
intercepted.
people have gotten permission from their countries, they get intercepted and they get sent back. So if you
That's
look
right.
at well, here's a map.
Stargate.
There's all of these islands out here. Remember the Falkland Islands War? What's that
Yep.
about? Right, the Falkland Islands. I think it's right off of here or somewhere. They have all of these bases. They're all around. There's a whole bunch of them. And that's to keep an eye on anyone going to Antarctica, because if anyone went there, they will find what's going on, and they stop people by force. Right? You can go on a very expensive vacation, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, where they take you like right here off the tip of Santiago. Costs you like 30 or 40 grand. You get to go for 3 days. You mostly stay on the ship. They maybe bring you out here and say, "Oh, look, this is the ceremonial South Pole." It's only a ceremonial South Pole, and you have no way of verifying it because there's no GPS and compasses don't work. Why doesn't
That's
the compass work in South America? Okay. Why doesn't the compass work? Because it's too far from the north, right? That's where the magnetic pole is. There is no South Pole. No one has ever crossed Antarctica, right? If you wanted to go from Buenos Aires to Perth, did we do this already, or was that my last show?
Yep.
We did
No.
this. Okay, we didn't do this. Buenos Aires to Perth,
No.
FlightAware says this is the best way. But, can't disturb the penguins. So we go around, right? That would be the shortest way. But if you want to go from Buenos Aires to Perth, do you know the flight route that they take? It's insane. It goes Buenos Aires to Miami or Chicago. Then it stops in LA. Then it stops in Sydney. And then it goes over here. Or they go the other way through Europe, Singapore, and Perth. Why don't they just cut across the bottom of the ball? Bam, that's the shortest route. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Hey, David, we was kind of late to the meeting, so I don't know if you answered this before. But the biggest question is why do you feel that obviously the UN knows this is a lie. So why push the lie? Why do you feel like it's very important?
Maybe they're hiding free energy, hiding the creator, hiding your spirituality, hiding more land, hiding more
Fallen
resources,
angels.
scientific knowledge of what's in Antarctica, hiding that you are the center of creation and that you are special. Maybe those are a couple reasons. Want me to keep going?
Wow.
Okay.
And
They're
we-
hiding
the
your
earth-
true divinity. They're making you listen to this. If you're in fear, that's a low vibration and you limit your power. Okay.
You can't
Your
ascend.
thoughts create your reality. Every one of you, every single thing you have in your life is your fault. Okay. Everything, good or bad, it's the way you think. It's the way you bring things into your life. Or people go, whoa, I want $1 million. Basically, they're saying, I don't have $1 million and I'll never have it. Okay. It doesn't work that way. It's what comes from your heart. It's what comes from your emotion. You know, they say, don't put the cart in front of the horse. Remember that old saying? Maybe I'm dating myself. Okay. Put the realization in front of the manifestation. Okay. Put your desire, you already have it. Now let it come into your life. That's how you have to live your life. You already have it. Let it come in, because if you're focusing on, oh, I'm never going to have it, you're never going to have it. Okay.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
What's that?
Yeah.
That's,
Yes.
Well, guys, look,
I had
we
a question.
booked him for an hour, and he was gracious enough to.
I can keep going a little bit longer if you
Oh,
want.
okay,
or
that's
we
cool.
can wrap it up.
Please
Yeah,
do.
you're my last show, and I'm
What other
here.
questions you got bona fide down there?
Thinking, I want to ask you, where are you at spiritually, and where was you at spiritually before the flat Earth?
Yeah, so before the flat Earth, I would basically be described as atheistic. I came from pond scum, right? And there is no creator. And I would tune out of I listen to a podcast, got 3 pages of notes, like, this is fantastic. Then they go, well, and the Bible and Jesus. I'm like, you're gone. Bam, throw the paper in the garbage. I'm like another religious kook. And then I discovered that the earth is intelligently designed. Well, puts me in a situation where I can no longer deny the creator. And here's the thing I say. There's Christians, there's Muslims, there's all these religions, and there's all good people. There's good people everywhere. There's good people that don't assign a religion. What we're supposed to do here, in my opinion, is find the creator, find your relationship to the creator, and explore it. And that's everyone's personal journey. If you're a Christian, be a good Christian. And if someone's not a Christian, you can set an example for them if you want, and they have the choice to follow you, or they can go the way they want to go. But the whole idea is to honor the creation, honor the Father, whatever word you want to put on it. I don't like using words that pigeonhole things, because it's bigger than that. We are pieces of God, right? Our souls are the light of God. That's it. And we're here we chose to be here during this time. You know why? Because this time is amazing. Okay. We're here. And we come here with amnesia, because that's the way it goes. Like, if we knew everything, we'd be like, I'm kind of bored. Right. But they make it, we make it interesting. This is what this place is. It's amazing place. And the people say, you know what? I'm only one person. I still have to go to work. There's nothing I can do about it. Well, that's true if you think that. But if everyone would just wake, I don't want to say up, then everything changes instantly.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, everything changes instantly. Don't have to wait till tomorrow. We can do it tonight. It's like I got 40.
If everybody decided tonight never put a mask on again, we would never put a mask on again.
I've never put a mask. Don't say that. I've never put on a fear muzzle. Okay. I've never put one on.
There you go.
Yeah. I've never put one on. I never will, no matter what. Okay.
So you ain't flew anywhere lately.
Not lately. Correct.
Right.
I will be driving to South Carolina in October.
Bonafide, we got to go to this event. It's in September. What day in September?
It's in October. It's called Flattoberfest. It's also linked in the app. If you have it in the app, just scroll through the pages to the ones that have the big blocks, and it says Flattoberfest. Click it and go. Just Go to the event. It'll be amazing. It's right in your hometown, right? You said you're right
I'm
there.
coming down there. We're going together.
You're gonna love it, and then and you're gonna just meet the greatest people ever. You're gonna meet the greatest people ever. It's fantastic.
We're going to be reporting the Frog News Network from the event.
Absolutely. I'll come and talk to you
Podcasting
guys.
right
I'll
from the
come and talk to you,
event.
and
Hey,
I'll bring you guys some other people
I'll
to
come.
talk to.
Hey, Doug, how
I'll
you
be
feel
there.
about Flat Earth now?
He flattered in a pizza.
Well,
For
you know
real?
what? Flat
Well,
Earth
you
isn't
wasn't
the
away
right
last week.
word. Flat Earth, I call it the
Yeah.
true Earth, but we live in this level plane. Maybe level Earth is the answer. Level Earth, right? Because
Yep.
there's hills and valleys. People, oh, it's flat. What about Mount Everest? That's not so flat. You know what? You're just using stupid things, stupid thoughts.
Well, here's something that
All right.
everybody forgets about. Let's go back to the Antarctica, David.
Yeah.
You remember before the big election in 2016, what was the significant event that happened that summer of
Ju-
2016 when
Well-
all the world leaders had to make a mad dash down to the Antarctica to see something?
Yeah.
Right?
Something. Right. Maybe that's where
Obama
the real
sent John
controllers
Kerry
live.
down there.
Maybe.
The Pope went down there.
Right.
all
And
the world leaders
John
went
Kerry
down
went
there.
down there on election day. On election
That's
day.
right.
He went to Antarctica. Right.
That's right.
Meeting with the aliens.
Maybe that's not aliens, extraterrestrials. They come from the extraterra beyond Antarctica, right? Maybe the real
Wow.
rulers of our world live in
Or
the
the
extra
Nephilim.
territory out, right? Think of Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth, Outer Earth. I don't know.
Wow. Okay.
Lord of the Rings.
J.R. Tolkien. Yep.
Bonafide, there is no satellites.
No satellites.
They're
That's
balloons.
So ever. They're absolutely 100%
They're balloons.
balloons. You can't have a satellite falling around a spinning ball through a space vacuum traveling in 4 different directions at once. It's nonsense. Balloons.
Especially
Also,
when they say
Bonafide,
there's
you weren't on
tens
for
of
this.
thousands.
NASA and their balloons. They love their balloons.
Yep.
He debunked all the Tesla stuff and the idiot that just went up in the penis rocket.
Jeff
Yeah,
Bezos.
see,
He said that all of that was fake CGI stuff. All this stuff
Well,
is fake
and
CGI.
some of the footage they showed was just a designed zero G plane where they floated around. They got 3 seconds of video here, 4 seconds there, 2 seconds here, and they edited it all together, and that's it. And they
Right.
always have the girl with the long hair flipping around. Look, a hair. Anyone in the military? We ever in the military? Anyone?
No.
If you're up on the
No.
space station, they're not going to let you have hair 2 feet long. Okay, right? They always have the girls in the space station with their friggin' long hair. Would they shave their heads? Okay.
Yep.
hey, David, what do you feel about Space Force?
Space farce, right?
Face farce.
Starfleet Command, Space Force. Do you see any similarity?
There you go.
Do you see any similarity?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
Just
Yep.
a little bit.
Right. So think about this. You guys use your common sense. The SR-71 goes Mach 3.2. Any faster,
Right.
and it rips apart. Now you've seen them. They're razor blades. There's no paint on them because they get so hot it would just burn off. Okay.
Right.
One is actually, it went a little faster than it should have, and it started to rip apart. Okay. So this thing, super fast, 3.2, 2,193 miles per hour. And it's like a razor blade, and it heats up to like over 500 degrees. That's what they tell us. And they tell us that the gas leaks out of it before it takes off because it expands up to like 6 inches, and that's when it gets all tight when it's flying in the air. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true, but that's what they tell us. Then we have this hunk of junk, this unaerodynamic
Right.
garbage. This thing is like, it's like you can't run on a marathon. You're fat, right? Okay. And this thing goes Mach 25.
It's
Impossible.
just weightless.
There's like PVC piping going down the side. You know what this is? I'll tell you what this is. Okay. That big tank. What happens when the space shuttle takes off? Does it fly upright? No, it flies on its back. Do you know why? It
No.
flies on its back because that tank is not a 40,000 pound tank of falling,
Rocket
a
fuel.
40,000 pound metal tank. It's a helium balloon. It's a bouncy house. Okay.
It's a bouncy house.
Look at this. This is there's wind. This thing weighs 4 million pounds. It's blowing around like a bouncy house.
And it shouldn't be rocking like that.
It shouldn't be rocking
No.
like that, right? This thing, check this out. This is being filmed. Now, watch, there's a piece of paper that's going to blow by right here. Just watch. It's being filmed by the rest of the shuttle, which is on its way up. This is falling back to Earth, and it's going to burn up before it gets to those clouds. Watch right here. It's going to show you how fast it's going by. Watch this. Handkerchief's going to go by. 1, 2, 3. Here it comes, and there it goes. You see it? Okay. It's showing you that this is a blimp filled with helium. These guys are on their way to space. This is falling back to Earth. What is he zooming in? This thing's falling back so fast it's going to burn up. This is a blimp filled with helium. Okay.
Wow.
I have
It
a
would be
series
a
of
blur.
videos called
Blowing your mind. This
Rockets Are
stuff.
Balloons. Rockets are
It is.
balloons. People have a real hard time with it. They're all balloons. Now, sometimes we see a CGI, rocket go up. Like SpaceX had this rocket go up, and this is I call this the Tupac rocket. This is a hologram. Okay. Look, edit. They always just, it's all edit, CGI smoke. This is a hologram. Sometimes they launch real rockets. Sometimes that are small. Sometimes they launch helium balloons. But sometimes we found the projectors on NASA's lawn too that we were able to zoom in on some pictures, got some serial numbers, and it was from a holographic projection company. We're like, what are these weird lights?
Wow.
And check this out. Watch. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What happened there?
CGI went out.
What
with
happened?
the Pope.
This is a hologram that screwed up. Okay. And this is what we're watching on TV.
Yep. David, you remember last summer, one of Elon Musk rockets that was allegedly in space, right? It was a live feed, right? And the little mouse was on the rocket booster.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And now every run after that, they now have what appears, they're saying it's ice, frozen oxygen or whatever, but every time they add it again because they're covering their tracks. They're like, oh no, look, it happened again. Look, it happened again. Look, it happened again.
Exactly.
It looks like it was a mouse. I don't know. I'm not 100% on that one. It was just not a rocket in space. But you watch this thing go up. What's all that tinfoil doing? The thing is going Mach whatever. What happens? Hold a piece of tinfoil out of the car window at 55 miles an hour. Okay. What's going to happen to that? This thing's going Mach, 20, 30. And the tinfoil is just like blowing around a little bit, right? The dumbest crap ever. Anything dumber than the globe. Anything. Come on. 100 Bitcoins. 100.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, this
I'm
has
gonna tell
sure
you
been informative.
I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do another Frog News Network challenge.
Here
If
we
you
go.
can prove this man wrong, we got 10 grand on the line.
Nice.
This ain't no Bitcoin. This is real coin.
It's real coin.
Well,
It's American money.
I
That's
challenge
that's
everybody.
you
Money
can
$9.99
cash your
now.
Bitcoin in for 30 grand right now or whatever it's at. So either way,
Hey,
I'm
the
just saying,
guy.
I'm offering the
the guy-
Bitcoin because it'd be easier to send it to the person.
Yep. That,
You
that
remember,
Good.
I
was
can't
just gonna
remember
say
the guy Dave that contacted us from the reality show.
Uh-huh.
He said he'll match my 10, so that's 20 grand.
He knows the earth is flat. I need some non-flat earth shows. Somebody.
You remember I'm
Anybody.
talking about? The emailed you.
We might get you on a reality show.
You get me
Yeah.
on any show that will have this discussion intelligently. Like I've been on shows where people think it's the dumbest thing ever, like David Nino Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Nino
First time I went on him,
Rodriguez,
he's
yeah.
like, this is really dumb, but I'll talk to you. And then he's like, wow, you made some good points. And now he's talking about it in every stream. He's bringing it up, but he's being careful because he doesn't want to upset his audience. And that's where I was too. I'm long past being careful.
I could care less.
By the way, we are past the point of being quiet, being careful, being concerned. We are past that point. We are at a critical
That's
time
right.
in our what the heck is going on in this coming reset. There's a massive reset happening,
Yes.
and there is no time for being afraid of what other people think of you. Find the truth, speak the truth, just like God tells you to. Okay. Find the
That's
truth,
right.
speak the truth, and stop worrying about what other people think, right? Because screw other people. Sorry.
You're exactly right.
Mm.
And I'm glad you
Mm.
said God told you to.
You know what? That's it's these things are just truths, right? You
Yep.
don't even need the Bible to tell you that. Speak the truth. That's what this place is about. Okay. But
Mm.
you know, I don't know. I don't know. There's so much going on. Let me show you. Do you guys ever see my sun fade out? Check this out. I got my drone looking west. It's 35, 30, 32, below freezing, 32 degrees, 30 degrees. And the sun started going down in 5 minutes time. It was going down. And if the earth was spinning, it would just keep on going, but it didn't. It went down, 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 down. And then it stopped. Watch. This is sped up like 2,500%. It sat there for 10 minutes and it never went below this horizon. It just faded into the thickness.
CGI.
It's because the atmosphere here that just go back and
Wow.
forth. It just faded away. It never drops down below that line. And I'll show you how that is because we see everything in what I call our personal atmospheric dome, where everyone sees it differently. Okay. And I call that, I caught that 7 different times, right? It just
Wow.
sat there. Forget people, it's not in focus. It's not this, it's not that. It was going down, down, down. If the earth is spinning, it would just keep on going, but it didn't. It went down and it stopped. And the way that works is here's a glass dome on top of a white carpet, and I'm just moving a pen light level across, and you watch inside it, it's got this, looks just like a sun, right? And as I move it away, the sun that's going away, it just goes down and it never goes below the edge of the dome. It just fades out. It just fades out. Watch, I'm just come back. It appears on the horizon. It rises over your head in your personal atmospheric dome. And then it won't go below. It just stops and fades out. That's how we see the sunrise and we see the sunset. If you watch the sun in some places, you can clearly see that we're not falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound. Okay. When you're
That's right.
watching the sunset, if you believe in the heliocentric model, you believe you're falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound, and that's making the sun appear to go down, right? Let me show you how the sun sets. This is my flat earth kitchen. This line, I verified that it's level, and I'm showing you I'm moving my sun across the line, right? So I'm showing you it's level. This is either mountains or clouds or whatever. This is just something that's opaque, and the sun never goes below it. And I'm viewing the sun from an elevated position. Now I got another camera on the counter on the other end, looking from the counter, and here's the sun going away. Same film, same thing, just a different position. You would think that this line is going down, and look, it's going below this, but it's really still above it. This is perspective, and in the distance, this looks like it's at your eye level, just due to perspective. Now watch, I'm going to compare it to an actual sunset. Okay, here it is again. And over here is the sunset. Now look, that's not the horizon. Look, it's going behind something right here. Look at that. That's called the atmospheric deck of opacity. But I'm zoomed in on that. You can't see. It looks like it's going below the horizon because this is too small for your eye to see. This is what's happening. This is real. This is the same thing. Okay.
Crazy,
What a good
man.
model. That's a great model.
Yeah. And then if there's no nothing in the sky, super clear. This was filmed by a soldier in Afghanistan, right? And you can clearly see that the sun is just moving away. This is super sped up, and it's just moving away and getting dimmer and dimmer, and it's just going to disappear, and it'll finally go behind an atmospheric deck, or maybe it's just the land. It's just getting too small. And as Paul McCartney says, the fool on the hill sees the sun going down, but the eyes in his head see the world spinning round. Truth in music, truth in movies, lies in the news.
Wow, David. That is amazing. Wow.
That's pretty good there.
Right there. Yeah.
I'm a believer now.
Well, it's
He
not
was a
about
believer
believing.
before, boy.
Belief is the enemy of knowing. Okay. Here's the thing. You can walk away from this and going, all right, there's massive problem with the globe. The globe makes no sense. It's the dumbest thing in the world, to be exact. But Is the earth flat? It appears to be flat. The truer statement is we're not a spinning globe flying through an infinite universe. You know, are we on a dielectric plane inside a toroidal field? Maybe. Are we in a physical simulation that's flat? That's a good way to describe it. I kind of like that, right? We don't know what this place is, but it's testably, measurably flat and motionless. And the Bible will back it up 200 times. Go to that biblical thing, hit the 200 proofs video, watch some of Matt's videos, just watch them. Even if you hate the Bible, if you're anti-religious, anti-Jesus, whatever, watch it, because you'll be like, huh, I've made some decisions in my life that maybe I should reconsider. Okay.
Exactly right. That's one of my biggest arguments is I never claimed that we was on a saucer, I guess you'd call it. I always said there's absolutely nowhere we're spinning at 1,500 miles an hour or whatever the case may be. So that's where I start my argument. If you can prove to me that we're spinning at 1,000 or 1,500 or whatever the case may be, I guess it's wherever you are on the earth, then that's where I put up the 10 grand. Prove to me that we're spinning. And then that opens people's eyes up to just start investigating.
Safe.
Yep.
10 grand isn't going anywhere.
He knows it.
Yeah. And people say, you know, when I show the sun fade out video, they go, you know, I've watched 1,000 sunsets and I've never seen it set. I go, have you watched it from 500 meters on a perfectly clear day with zero humidity when it's below freezing with a 4K camera where you can't even see the sun until you zoom in it and after and post? You know, they're like, well, no, I watched it over the water. Well, over the water is the thickest, most moist air. It will all condense and it'll become opaque. It'll become opaque. And let me show you how perspective works. So you look at lights going down the street, they look like they're going down, but we know they're all the same height. It's just perspective.
Right.
So watch this. You know, when we see a cloud deck and all the clouds are up there, so you look up, this guy is looking up and he's got to look way up, strain his neck, the cloud's up there. But if there was a deck of clouds going into the distance, they would look like they're going down, but they're all sitting on that deck. And your perspective can say, all right, I understand. And as they get closer to the horizon, they kind of merge with the horizon, like 20, 30 miles, the clouds are literally touching the horizon, just 20, 30 miles away. So this guy is going to look at that cloud and he's going to imagine a string going from his eyes to that cloud. And that string is level over the water from his point of view, right? He's seeing that string from his eyes to the cloud level. But what if you were standing underneath that cloud and can see the string? Would you see a level line? You would not see a level line. What you would see is a string coming from a cloud 5,000, 10,000 feet over your head, sloping down. This guy sees this line like that. But this guy sees the line going like this, right? It's all your perception. So now what happens when the sun cruises by? This is his cloud. Excuse me. This is his horizon. This cloud is merged from his point of view into the horizon. It's merged into the horizon. So the sun is just going away. And when it passes this cloud that from his point of view is merged at his eye level into the horizon, it looks like this to him, but it doesn't look like this to him because remember, it's all merged into the horizon. So from his point of view, what he sees is the following. He sees this cloud merged into the horizon. He sees the sun moving away, just like the streetlights going down. And then when it passes that cloud, it looks like a horizon and it looks like it's setting, but it's just going away, all due to perspective.
Wow. That's
Earth
amazing.
is flat. Deal with it, or we are going into some really dark ages.
It wasn't too deep for me. I feel like I'm seeing right through it.
Yeah. So that's how that works.
Here.
What about the Bermuda Triangle, man?
Let me tell you what the Bermuda Triangle is. The Bermuda Triangle is where NASA dumps all the rockets. It's everyone stay away from there. Okay, because the rockets go up, they go out over the Bermuda Triangle, and they crash into the ocean, right? There's another place, Point Nemo in the south. That's where they do it. And then there's no one out there to see it. They keep all the boats out of there. And maybe some boats saw some things that they shouldn't have. So they sank the boats and they made up the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. Here's the thing. When you're looking at something that you can't measure or verify it, you can't measure or verify it. Are these two tables the same width and dimensions? Yes or no?
No.
They
No,
don't
They're
appear to be.
exactly the same. Exactly the same. And nothing you can do in your mind will help you render that. Okay.
Wow.
Model.
It's exactly the same. And no matter how many times you look at it, you won't see it as the same. So unless you can measure it, you touch it yourself, you have nothing. You have nothing. Now, NASA says Venus is the size of Earth. I say Venus is the size of a beach ball. Neither of us can be proven.
It's
Spot
all
on.
perception.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spot on.
Mhm.
What we perceive, what we think.
Yeah.
Wow, this gets really deep. It's getting weird now.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yep.
I
So,
want
David,
a
I got
flatbed
it.
pizza.
So the moon may just be about 3 miles away.
I think the
Big
moon,
as a big-
I think it's super, super, super close. Like when I see the sun appear on the horizon here, I'm on Long Island Sound. It looks like it's maybe as far as Montauk Point. Well, that's 65 miles from me. So that would mean that it would set 65 miles from me. So it's traveling like 130 miles from sunrise to sunset. Well, that would explain why it's moving so friggin' slow. Okay. And that's what we see. It's in our, again, it's in our, what we call our personal atmospheric dome. And we see these things. And this explains time zones. It explains how, you know, if three of us were 50 yards apart and the sun was setting behind us and we were looking at a giant upright mirror, and we sent a fourth person up to the mirror with a Sharpie and I say, I see the sun right there. And they draw a circle right around the sun. I'm like, yep, it's right there. Then they walk 50 yards over and say, where do you see the sun? They would draw another circle 50 yards away from my sun. And the next one 50 yards away. We all see that reflection that's in relative to our own position. You're like, wait a minute, but the sun can't be a reflection. I can feel the heat and everything. And the way I realized this is I was in Las Vegas at a convention, and I'm sitting by the pool at like 3:30 in the afternoon. So the sun is going down and it was friggin' hot. And it's beating on the right side of my face. I'm sitting in the beach chair. I'm having a cocktail. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to be burnt on one side of my face, right? But then the hotel was on my left side, maybe 100 yards away. And it was a mirrored hotel. And the sun at one point lined up with the mirror perfectly. And I look and I'm like, it looked the same. Of course, it's a mirror. But the sun reflecting off the mirror was hot on the left side of my face. So I said, I closed my eyes. I said, if I didn't know which one was the real sun, could I tell? And I couldn't tell the difference. Reflection. Maybe the sun is a reflection of the real source sun that's beyond the firmament. Maybe the firmament is glass-like and it's like a magnifying glass and it's projecting it into our reality. Just when you use a magnifying glass and you're burning ants on an anthill, if you lift it up, well, that dot is gone. Well, that dot's really still there. It's in the air. Maybe that's how the dome is working. And it's all our angle of view of it. Maybe we all have.
I think that rainbows are the same shape.
Rainbows are curved because the dome is curved.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wow.
All right. I got to get off here. My phone's beeping
Right.
going to you, fellas.
I'm gonna wrap it up also. But there's a ton more. Everybody get the app. Share the app. If you know any shows, anyone listening, if you know any shows that would like to have me on, you can reach out. It's on my my YouTube channel's DITRH. My information's there under the about. But my email is info@theflatters podcast. If you're going to recommend a show, send me a link to the show. Send an email to the show and link me in. Whatever you want to do. But let's get me on other non-flat earth shows. If you're a flat earther and you have an audience, that's fine too. But it's a lot of fun to do shows with people that are like, flat earth is stupid, but I'll talk to you. Right. And and that's when the magic happens.
Hey, Dave, I'm from Massapequa, not far from
We know
Montauk.
everybody.
Nice. Are you on the Massapequa on the South Shore or the North Shore of Long Island?
I was Bar Harbor Shopping Center. I left there when I was 9. So
Oh, okay. You're from
not there
I got
anymore.
it. I got it.
Okay, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming on and spending the extra time with us.
Everybody,
it's been really, really cool.
You can find me at theflatearthpodcast.com, theflatearthpodcast.com, my podcast, theflatearthpodcast.com, my Facebook page, theflatearthpodcast.com, the Flat Earth Podcast, sorry. And check out the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. Blue Water Bay, highest rated app in both stores. Super fun. Just read the reviews if you're unsure. And the last thing I have to say is don't let them control your mind with cartoons, okay? Because that's all they have. The question you ask somebody is, when did you start believing in NASA, and did they show you anything other than cartoons? And the answer is before you could talk, and no, they haven't.
Very good. Thank you, David. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you, man. It was an awesome show, brother.
Amazing.
All right, man. Thanks so much.
Have
All
a
right,
blessed
have a great
evening.
day, brother.
See you. Thanks.
All right.